Hi everybody. So I wanted to take a moment to talk about this worksheet and go over some problems because I noticed that most people were either completing it but kind of struggling with the material. So I wanted to go over the problems and just give you a way that you could check your own work on this particular assignment. So taking a look at the first problem, what we want to do is we want to figure out the slope of these lines, okay? So one really quick trick that I do is I like to find a corner where the lines meet like a box, the corners of a box, so like those 2 points, okay? And I go ahead and put like dots there. And that helps me say, okay, these are the 2 points that I'm going to look at for my rise and my run, all right? So I go ahead and look at my rise and my run. I'm going to go up 2 steps, and I'm going to go over 1 step. So the slope for this particular line is going to be 2 over 1, okay? You might have a different answer. The line is not really that perfect, and so it can be kind of off. But you should have roughly, like, at least a positive value, for example. So taking the next one, let's go ahead and do this point right here. And we can do this point right here, okay? So this one goes this way and then that way. So it goes down by 1 over 2 steps. So it's going to be the rise, which is -1, over 2. So the vertical movement over the horizontal, okay? That's how we figure out the slope. So looking at the next problem, I go ahead and plot a point here, plot a point here. So I'm going to move my rise over my run. So I'm going to go up 1 over 2 steps. So 1 over 2. You should have a positive value. It's okay if you have like 1 over 3 or something else, only because the way the lines are drawn, it's like kind of annoying and it's not very specific. Then this point and this point, let's do. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to go over. Down is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps. Over is 2. So because it's going down, I have -6. So -6 over 2, which simplifies, by the way, because they both have like positive 2 in common. So I divide by 2, I get -3 over 1, which is just -3. So that's the slope, -3. Okay? So that's how you do those first 2 graphs, okay? Is you basically plot 2 points and graph the upward downward movement over the horizontal movement. So taking a look at this one, I showed an example, a video of how to use the tools for this particular problem, but I didn't really explain, I think, very well on how to actually graph it, like if, talking about actually graphing and doing the work. So to go over this, we plot the point. So we start at our origin and we move to that point. So -4 means we're moving to the left on the horizontal axis. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And +1 means we're going up 1. So that's going to be our point, is at -4, 1. Okay? I'm going to erase that origin because I don't need that anymore. Now my slope is -2. That means it's -2 over 1, okay? So that means that I'm going to go down -2, so down -2 spaces, over 1, and that's going to be my second point. And then you can like put a ruler on your paper, but you just basically draw a line straight through that. So this is the line that you should have. It should be going downwards and to the right, all right? Then looking at this one right here, we start at our origin, we plot our point. So -2, so 2 spots to the side, and because the y value is 0, we don't go up or down, we just stay at the x-axis. Now to calculate our slope, we have 3 over 5. That means we're going up 3 over 5. So up 3 steps and over 5 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then I plot my point here. And then I connect my dots like so. All right? And that's my points. That's my line for this one, okay? So those are what your 2 lines should look like. And then let's look at the next page. So taking a look here, we're going to talk about how to solve these particular problems. Now, the slope formula is right here, okay? M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I showed you how to do this in the notes, but it's totally fine if you didn't get it there or you need like extra help. That happens, don't worry. I want to write the equation out one more time so you can see what I'm doing here. What you're going to do is you're going to identify your x1, y1, x2, y2, okay, the letters that these coordinate points have, okay? I'm going to just go ahead and label my first one x1, y1, and the second one x2, y2. You can just do that for all of these. First one is x1, y1, second one is x2, y2, okay? And now that I have them written out, it's really easy to just plug them into the formula. The first value is y2, right? So I look for my y2, and 9 is directly underneath that. So I just put a 9 where that y2 is in the formula. Then I'm say, okay, there's a minus, so I put a minus. And then y1, okay, look for y1, that value is 2. So I put a 2. Looking at the bottom, I have x2. The value for that is 7. And then minus, and the value for x1 is 1. So that's it. I just plug it in, and now I do my math. So 9 minus 2 is 7. 7 minus 1 is 6. So my answer is 7 over 6. All right, simple enough? So going over here, I'm going to go ahead and label my x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay? So take a moment to do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and plug in those values into my formula. So I've got the 2 minuses there, right? I plug in my y2, which is 0, minus y1, which is 3. Then I have my x2, which is negative 1, and my x1, which is negative 5. Now notice how there are two negatives here, right? It's a minus, minus 5. So what I'm going to do is when I have two negatives, I have to rewrite those two negatives as positive. So it becomes positive 5. So from a negative 1 minus minus 5, it becomes negative 1 plus 5. Okay, when we see two minuses next to each other, they become plus. So then we go ahead and do our math. 0 minus 3, negative 3. Negative 1 plus 5 is like saying 5 minus 1. So that's 4. So my answer is negative 3 over 4. Okay? I want you to go ahead and pause the video, take a moment and try the other 4 problems on this page. And then I will, in the next moment, I will go ahead and answer those 4 problems. But take a moment, try to answer them yourself. Okay, so hopefully you paused the video and you tried those problems. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to run through them really quick to keep this video short. Sorry, my pen clicked the wrong button and I paused the video. Okay, there we go. So I plug it in to my formula right here. So I get 3 minus minus 1, 0 minus 5. My two minuses become a plus, 0 minus 5. And then I get 3 plus 1, which is 4, over negative 5. Okay? Then here, for this problem, just go ahead and move down a little bit. So I have x1, y1, x2, y2. I plug it into my formula. I put y2, which is negative 5, and 2, which is there. And then my x2, which is 6, and my x1, which is 6. So negative 5 minus 2 is basically saying we have negative 5 and we're going 2 more in the negative direction, which is negative 7. And 6 minus 6, which is 0. Now this is what we're going to call undefined. So that's actually what your answer is going to be. Because any number divided by a 0 is what we call undefined. You can't take something and divide it by nothing, okay? That's what saying negative 7 divided by 0 is. You're saying, taking negative 7, I'm going to divide it by nothing, which you can't actually do. That's not a physical thing you can do. So we're just going to call it undefined, okay? that has there's like a reasoning for that when we get to like drawing slopes, because remember, a slope that's undefined is a vertical line. So undefined means that those 2 points, when plotted, will create a vertical line. So taking a look at the next one, we have x1, y1, x2, y2. Plug it into my formula. I get 8 minus 5, 9 minus 12. I get 8 minus 5, which is 3. 9 minus 12, which is negative 3. Now, 3 over 3, that simplifies to 1. And because we have a negative, I put a negative 1. And looking at the last problem, we have x1, y1, x2, y2. Plug it in. Negative 1 minus 7. Negative 8 minus 3. Now, because we have so many minuses, I'm going to change those to a plus. So I have negative 1 plus 7, negative 8 plus 3. Negative 1 plus 7 is 6. Negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5. So that's my answer, negative 6 over 5. Okay? So hopefully this stuff makes sense. Hopefully you were able to get these answers. What I want you to do is just go over your work, make sure that you have the correct answers on your page, that you understand how to solve them. If you're struggling, please, please, please reach out. I am more than happy to help. I'm available on office hours all this week. I would love to help you if you're struggling with this, because you do need this for the project, and it's going to help you better if you understand it now as opposed to understanding it or having to call me last minute next week. 2 weeks from now, to get a bunch of help, okay? So please make sure you reach out. Thanks. Bye-bye.